Bases dropped on a wall past Wednesday here on Soccer's Morning Show here on the SDH Network. John, hear you there. Thanks for hanging out with us. Here's the rundown for the morning. It is Wednesday, so it's a wall pass Wednesday. So it's whatever's on your mind. We actually do have a game we can watch on basic cable this morning in the Euros, and it's early on, and Albania and Croatia are starting official match day twos across the planet, and Croatia survived the first 23 seconds. Morning pars, morning ropes. So surviving the first 23 seconds, it is goalless right now, Croatia, Albania. That one is in the 6th minute, heading to the 7th minute. We'll keep an eye on that one this morning. That's one of a triple header. And when it comes to the activity with Copa America, press conferences are later today for the MD-1s. Canada's starts at 11 o'clock, and the one for Argentina, I think, is at 3:30 this afternoon. Joshua Cloakey's come out with an article for those of you that either subscribe to the New York Times or the Athletic about how this Canada bunch is supposed to be meaner and nastier than the stereotypic things that we think about Canadians. So we might get into that this morning, might get into it tomorrow probably as we get closer to match day. So Tyler Pilgrim joining us from Scarves in Spikes on the 280 character app at 9:15. And that will carry us with Wall Pass Wednesday thoughts. It'll carry us with Copa America thoughts. That'll get us to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, hour number 2. We can whip around patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully, rather than later. And that'll get us into the previews for all of the other stuff that's going on today. Very, very busy match day. Jason is in D.C. Hopefully sometime in hour number 2, we can catch up with Jason and find out what his thoughts are with Atlanta United going on the road. And we'll see if Jason's staying on the road or if he's coming home. Actually, no, he is coming home because Jason has matches to call this week before, and he's flying out to St. Louis on Saturday. So after the match, he's coming home. Maddie has Georgia Impact tonight at 7 o'clock across the network. So if you are anywhere close to Cherokee High School, go catch Georgia Impact home match 7 o'clock. Maddie's on the call for that one. And then we have the big to-do, and that's the official term, at Lee and White, 5:30 till 9, I believe. So if you're anywhere near Lee and White on the West End, it is the Argentina Copa America kickoff. Scott Flood and the Flood Project doing tremendous work. There's going to be like a documentary being shown. You've got the chance to possibly win a Messi jersey, and I believe that there is a signature that has been attached to said jersey. So that's big stuff. But, yeah, if you are over at Lee and White over on the West End late this afternoon, early tonight, you can multitask. You can go and celebrate the Albiceleste getting ready for Copa America, and you can listen to Jason and Mike on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app and get you ready for Atlanta United, DC United. And Rob Valentino had the chance to catch up with folks before he and the team left. And if you missed those conversations, you can go and listen to Atlanta Soccer Tonight on the Odyssey app, 92.9 The Game, and Odyssey app off the woodwork. Go and follow the train, and you can catch up with what Jason's original thoughts are from AST and catching you ready for Rob's thoughts and Sean De Silva's thoughts getting ready for DC United. Tomorrow, to go through the traffic of the week. Thursday is Thursday, and I know that's an incredibly earth-shattering statement to a lot of folks. Nino Torres from Gold TV is going to join us for the Copa, and he's going to join us Thursdays at 10 o'clock. And so Nino's going to drop by at 10. He's going to give all of his Copa thoughts. We'll hang out with him at 10, and then Nico Moreno is going to join us at 10:30 for the last half hour of the show. So we have Nino and Nico. Don't think I won't get that confused. So Nino Torres from Gold TV is going to join us at 10 o'clock on Thursdays throughout the Copa, and Nico Moreno is going to join us at 10:30, and we'll break down everything that happened tonight in Major League Soccer tomorrow as we get you ready for the weekend, which is Friday, and hopefully, obviously, we'll have we can whip around in the 10 o'clock hour, see if Jason can join us there, if Jason is in fact alive and not sleeping, and we'll get you ready for the weekend on Friday. Friday, Jason and Jess will be at Decatur High School for Decatur FC as they take on Tormenta's women's side in a friendly. So that'll be Decatur FC's broadcast. and that'll be at 7 o'clock on Friday night. Maddie will have the Impact match for you at 6, so it'll be a multi-device experience. Maddie with the Impact at 6. Jason and Jess with Decatur FC at 7 as they take on Tormenta in a friendly. And then Jason, first thing Saturday morning, flies out to St. Louis for Atlanta United in all caps SC. So St. Louis City SC, it's going to have a very, very busy time. So there's that's the rundown of the week and where we're all going to be with the SDH Network. But once again, today, Tyler's going to join us in a couple minutes. And then we get you ready for Lee and White tonight. Then Atlanta United, DC United later today. And we're all over the place and getting you ready for the midweek. So that would be really cool. It's a really cool beginning of the midweek. And this is the busy time. I know a lot of folks are saying, oh, it's the downtime. Yeah, it's the downtime here, the downtime this, downtime. No, there's no downtime. You've got Major League Soccer. You've got Copa. You've got Olympics. You've got Leagues Cup. You've got Open Cup. You have all of the things that are going on right now here with the spring and summer of soccer. It's still spring for 2 more days. And then on Friday is the equinox. So Friday the 21st is the vernal equinox. That does not mean that it is an equinox involving folks named Vern, but it is a vernal equinox on Friday, the longest day of the year when it comes to the sunlight, and then everything just starts getting shorter. So we'll see what we'll see what the vernal equinox has for all of us here coming up. But it's a very, very busy week for us here at SDH across a bunch of different fronts, and that's the layout for what's going on in our universe and yours. Let's see, PARS. Since they said Atlanta was near the top of spending, can we just bookmark this year's spending release and measure future rosters against that? Maybe build a spreadsheet that can help figure it out. Me and spreadsheets. First off, near who is they? First off, PARS, and I'd love to know legitimately where spending is and what the spending numbers are. I'd love to know. I mean, we do have the numbers from the MLSPA and MLSplayers.org about salaries and things, but I want to know, going on with what was said here earlier this week, that might be more of a that was probably leading into when Garth was here. And I know that Garth had said that there was going to have to be some contracts that were going to have to be adjusted and folks being released. What I'd like to know, along with you, and this is a part of the larger question here, is where the league franchises stand, period. I mean, we know what the cap is, but we don't know where folks are going up against the cap. And that to me is a big problem that we have with Major League Soccer, is that we don't know what we don't know. We know that folks are being brought in. We know folks are being brought out. We know that Messi and friends have probably, and LAFC probably have some of the best capologists out there. But we don't know to the point to where everybody is. You know that with long-term injuries, you can swap in folks and probably prorate salaries and things like that. And I know that we look at that with Miami and players. I'd love to know where everybody is. And that we don't know, because that information is not available to us. And that's part of the disappointing process when it comes to everything involving teams in Major League Soccer, that we know that Atlanta United was near the top. When Garth came in, he had to get rid of some salaries. The quote that always sticks with me is a short-term pain, long-term gain. But we don't know where that gain is right now. And since it is 9:15, and being incredibly punctual, as he always is, if he's not early. And we bring in Tyler for the 9:15. First and foremost, sir, what is the mug and what's in the mug?
It is the Scarves and Spikes mug again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to lie, this morning it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
You know, we're moving. This is actually my last day doing a show in this studio.
I was going to say, this is your last studio day?
Yeah. So a lot of other stuff has been moved as well. And this is decaf coffee.
What?
Yeah. It's all I had, man.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I going to do with you, man?
Give me some coffee, please.
Somebody, well, it's like, well, what you could do, but I don't know if that's going to help you out right now.
Great
Obviously,
segue.
yeah, they're right there.
Hey.
Get the QR code from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. That's your QR code for those of you who are watching, however you're watching us. And Tyler, he can watch us and participate. He just can't do a damn thing about it because he's in his studio for the last spaces. Don't forget, when you go to Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com, use the code Soccer Down Here 15. Get 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10%, and they will devote it toward cool stuff. That's the official term, as Albania now has a lead in the 16th minute. Big. See, I had Albania as getting out of the group stage.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, because I fell in love with the idea that they had an algorithm where they had some numerologists and some dudes who came up with a formula to figure out, okay, all of the players worldwide, like this planet, every other planet, dudes on Neptune playing for Neptune FC or whatever, they found out that the players that they could reach out to who had family of Albanian descent. And it turned into this big database of information. And they have on their roster in the tournament that is going on right now, they have dudes who were born in 8 different countries as a part of the 26-person roster for the Euros. And that was how they got Armando Broja from Chelsea, was through this mathematical equation and doing all the research that they came up with. The Albanian number crunchers, which I think is a 3rd division club there in Albania, as a matter of fact. They came up with all of these dudes, and they ended up with 8 different countries because I think Broja's mom is Albanian. Broja was not born in Albania, but that's the loophole that you can use. It's like familial birthplace and things like that. That's how they got Broja, who plays at Chelsea, to play for Albania, was using this spreadsheet and this mathematical equation. And so I love the fact that they were, finding different ways to grab players. And they've got a lead in the 18th minute over Croatia. And boy, does Croatia need a win after losing to Spain in match day 1.
Yes, they do. It reminds me of whenever whatever hot prospect or whatever is the new guy that the men's national team might be looking at. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, just go look at his family tree, because somewhere in there's got to be a link to insert country here.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and so that's how we play this. It's like, okay, so he's got to have some great grandma. It's like the Olympics, where it's like, I think it's the great grandparents or something, where if you have grandparents or great grandparents that are linked to a country, then you can sit there and you can be a part of the process in that country.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. And I had Albania making it out of group. I had Ukraine making it out of group. Those are my two wild cards. And after
Ukraine had a rough day.
That's what I'm saying. After match day 1, brother, I wasn't looking good, but that's no real surprise that folks shouldn't be able to pay attention to that kind of stuff. So that's where we are this morning. Pars was bringing in a point that we were discussing as you were rolling in, and it was having to do with the books. And since Atlanta was near the top in spending, can we bookmark this year's spending release and measure future rosters against it? Maybe build a spreadsheet so folks can figure it out. My larger point in this is that'd be great if Major League Soccer let us know where folks were when it came to the cap and where folks stand and how much they were. We can, like I said, we can go to NHLnumbers.com or whatever the hell they call the website now, and we can look at dudes and their individual salaries and how it applies against the cap, who's long-term injury, who's what, who's where, how much space do they have, how are they playing up against the cap, what do they have to do, these kinds of things. We don't have that kind of a mechanism in Major League Soccer. And I was making the point to Pars coming in that that Atlanta United was spending right up against the edge of the cap. Then Garth came in and said that we had to get rid of some contracts, short-term pain, long-term gain, that kind of a thing. But we still don't know, A, where Atlanta United is in the ladder and how much space they have to navigate, considering that they have gotten rid of some of the contracts that they needed to get rid of.
Yeah, and quick shout-out to Pars. We ran into each other passing by on the way to the game. So, howdy. But, yeah, I mean, the thing is right now, It's so difficult because it's like MLS just basically gives you one of those really annoying math problems from like 10th grade, that it's like a half a page long and you have to read through it to help deduce what information you actually have to figure out what information you need.
Yeah.
There's no line anywhere that MLS puts out that says, all right, well, we're not going to give you all the information, but we'll at least give you this starting point. They don't even have that. you can't go into any roster, unfortunately. I mean, and people try, there's people like in our Discord, I'm sure other Atlanta Discords, I'm sure on Reddit, everywhere, Twitter, like that, they've tried keeping spreadsheets. They've tried doing this, that, and the other to try to get an idea of like, where this team and where any team is at in terms of like the salary cap and spending and all. And it's just not easy. And it's not going to be, it might be close, but it's not going to be accurate, right? Because there's so many things about contracts. And then of course the rules themselves that just, they don't put out and they don't make sense when they do put stuff out. So it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, you just have to kind of go based on like clues, like Garth said, going back a couple of weeks ago, is that they really don't have any room to do anything right now. And that was obviously pre-Giacomakis move.
Right.
So, but if you take that as your starting point, maybe you could figure a little bit of it out, but it's not easy, man. It's really not. It's so frustrating.
It is suboptimal, as we say.
It is suboptimal.
And so if we go by the information of Garth, and now you have some space, now the question is, and by the way, I feel like I need to do this as a matter of fact. So I think what I will do is open up this particular piece of sentence structure with this. Day 4. Yorgos Giacomakis has not said a word to the 17s on social media, but he sounds damn happy to be at Cruz Azul. I feel like I need some kind of emergency, some deep, dark voice. Maybe if we
I like that. That was perfect. Because it's a conspiracy.
Day 4. Giacomakis says nothing on social media to his former club and their fans.
Peeps of nothingness.
More than happy to do it after he left Celtic and was heading this way.
Yeah. A little bit of stir in the pot there, but yeah. I mean, just post something, dude. You were here for a year and a half, man. Like,
just look. Give me, and you should have done this on your way out the door. Say the boilerplate, tab A, slot B, flow chart. Enjoyed my time. Drop a couple of references to restaurants and places that you enjoyed. Enjoyed my time with the club and the team and hanging out with the 17s. Thanks for buying my jerseys. Thanks for buying my T-shirt after the Hattie. But no. Day 4. Gigi says nothing.
Nothing at all. Nothing. I mean, that's the thing. Man. Like you said, give the copy paste version. I don't care, man. But like, it starts making people think things that probably aren't true.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't happy. You whatever, this, that, like, there could be so many things. But it's just like,
but apparently folks in Major League Soccer enjoy losing. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, okay. So yesterday we found the quote yesterday from his opening presser. So I'll go ahead and play this for you. Now we're to the point where Saturday Night Live, it's the buckwheat assassination.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't hear this part. But let's ride.
Doc, did you see the video of when buckwheat? Well, I know I didn't, Ted. And so here's Gigi at his one of his opening press conference moments at Cruz Azul. It's about 1:06. I'm surprised you didn't hear this, but no, thanks to
I had a busy day yesterday. I probably missed some stuff.
Kind of moving and making sure that folks don't see what's behind the curtain off of your left shoulder, camera right. So here's Gigi. Here's Gigi yesterday at his press. Well, it would have been 2 days ago at his press conference.
Okay. Since Cruz Azul showed some interest in me, I started following all the games. I watched all the playoffs, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, every single game, and I think the level here is higher. So I was really excited. I wanted to make it happen, and Cruz Azul showed me how much they want me, and that was a crucial factor for me to make my decision. Cruz Azul for sure is a team that I think is a level higher than MLS for sure, and is a team that is chasing records, chasing trophies, and is a winner. They try to win always, every single trophy. So for me, I love to work for these teams, to play for these teams, because the expectations are high. Your motivation has to be always there, and it's not okay to lose. Sometimes that's a bad thing in MLS, that it's okay to lose some games, and I hate it.
It's okay to lose in MLS, and I hate it. I love the fact that dude doesn't like to lose. I get that. But apparently in Major League Soccer, it's okay to lose.
I don't know. Oh, there's so much to unpack from that little clip.
And good morning.
Wow. Need some more real coffee now. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess my thing, first of all, is like that. It's like that's a copy paste from his initial press conference here. It was very like, you know, the team loves to win. The team seemed very interested in me, and that made the difference for me. Like here, it was Carlos going over to Scotland to actually have a talk with him. And yeah, I mean, Tommy's saying the same thing. Like that was very copy and paste from what he said when he got to Atlanta.
Absolutely was.
But I mean, there's two things about the whole like MLS likes to lose type comment. I guess one, if anybody in this coaching staff since the time that he's been here ever gave him the impression that it was okay to just not win games, then there's something very wrong. But if not, then I don't know where in the world he ever gets in his mind that, like, I understand he's an ultra competitive guy.
Get that. I love that.
But I don't think anybody's ever given off the vibes that it's okay to lose. Like, it might be okay to draw on the road when it feels like that's the best that you were able to come out with. But I don't know in what world anybody's ever been okay with Atlanta or any MLS team just sucking.
Mm-hmm. I want to suck.
That's
because that number one draft pick is really going to make a difference.
Right. Let's tank the season so I can go get, some random person out of college. Not knocking them, but like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thought you'd enjoy that.
I'm glad you showed me that.
Yeah. So Ricky's asking, was he self-snitching?
Maybe
his motivation wasn't always high.
I don't know. I mean, this is a team sport, Jaco.
Yeah. Was he under threat of assault at his other stops when he lost? Well, maybe it's Celtic from the fans. Yeah. Jarrett would be the one to let us know about that. And so and David, Gigi didn't realize his coach got fired for losing.
Right. Like that happened. I mean, I know you were like halfway in Mexico when it happened because you were already had a foot out the door or whatever. Now I'm a little mad, man. I've defended Giakoumakis for so long, and I like the guy. My son loves the guy. All right, but that comment irritates me. That really
right now, I know that there are a lot of folks, and I'm probably going to evolve into one of them. That you're in Leagues Cup. I want Atlanta United to advance out of group stage in Leagues Cup, and I want to match up at Mercedes-Benz against Cruz Azul and all that cement money.
Yep.
I want that now.
I do too. And I want them to play that clip on the Halo board before the match starts.
Absolutely. I mean, the group stage, involving Charlotte and Philly and yourselves as a part of that group. But now I want Cruz Azul out of the group. And I want them to take on Atlanta United at Mercedes-Benz and play that clip.
Yep. I totally agree. Give me some theatrics now. Like, that is ridiculous. And, man,
you're apoplectic now.
It's crazy, dude. Like, I get the other stuff you said. Fine. Like, you just copy and paste it. I get it. But like, then you got to make a comment like that. Where did you get that from, Jaco? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool to lose.
Yeah.
I'm digging it. Yeah, yeah. We want to lose because yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. I want that number 1 draft pick. Out of
Yeah.
Seattle. I want to get there. No offense to a Jeremy Abobasi type selection, but
No.
I want a tank so I can get that number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy, you are right. It was pretty much tab A, slot B, plug and play from the press conference here when he moved in from Celtic to Atlanta United, and so now Ricky wore his name on the back of my Atlanta United kit in Greece. Careful, Tyler. The man's drinking decaf this morning. Ricky wore his name on the back of his Atlanta United kit in Greece.
That's messed up. That's messed up. Turned his back on everybody. Now I got to go explain to my kid who is his favorite player.
You're gonna burn the jersey in the driveway on your way out the door. You're moving from one house to another. Your last act is to take your Yakimakis Atlanta United 17s jersey away from your son, spike it in the driveway, get the gun,
lighter fluid.
Get the gun from the grill, and we're gonna go ahead and do it right here. We're gonna have a moment on social media, man. How's this for you and your TikToks?
Do it for the views, baby.
Exactly. How do you want to promote your show? We're gonna burn a Yakimakis jersey in my old driveway.
It's all for the gram,
or
whatever.
Yes,
and also for a little bit of revenge for making stupid comments in a Cruise the Soul press conference.
The IG and the GG. Yes, exactly right. That came across, and I think Jarrett was the one that stumbled across it, and you sit there and you cock your head, and it's a Seth and Amy moment, man. You go, really? That's what you want, Okay.
And it's kind of hard to defend that. It's not like you were taking it out of context.
Yeah.
You played what, the full minute before that?
minute 6, and it ended up I think it was 2 sound bites that were pieced together, but it ended up being a minute 6. And so that was and he was there. He had the blue screen behind him with all the rotating sponsors, and he had the 2 bags of cement there in front of the microphone and everything. And so welcome to your new city, and saying all the right things that and I think Tommy's probably before your next episode. Tommy, I think, is going to go find that quote from the press conference, and you'll have your compare contrast.
Yep.
And you could probably play them. You could probably play them in simultaneous tracks.
Yep.
And literally, it's just like, okay, track 1 is this, track 2 is this. And so, so just play the same.
See where it changes. Maybe that last sentence.
Yeah.
It might be where it changes, and that's it.
Yeah, where it's okay to lose in the SPFL. Literally, it's like, it's okay to lose in the SPFL. It's okay to lose in MLS. He goes to Brazil, or he goes to River Plate. It's okay to lose in Liga MX. Literally, it's like you hear the edit and the drop and the new league being quoted, and then it picks back up in the quote. You can tell it's an edit. So now that we see, but I got you fired up on decaf though.
I know. It's probably a good thing that it wasn't regular coffee this morning.
Oh,
my wife's texting me. She's like, we do have real coffee. We brought it back from the other house last night, which is great. So when I get done here, I'm about to be really, really, really fired up.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But no, it's all it's all fun and games until somebody has a quote in a press conference. But now that
quote.
Yeah. But now that has been said, Atlanta United, they end up with the draw with Houston, and now they're getting ready for schedule compression a go-go, which is stupid. I mean, literally, the schedule compression to get you through toward Leagues Cup is insane. I think we had it at 8 matches in 33 days, something weird like that. And coming out of Houston, now that you and the folks over there at Scarves and Spikes have had the chance to digest it, what is stuck in your brain, the post-GG era once it is continued?
I think for me, you had to go into this match not expecting, wholesale changes. I think, which they didn't have, right? Like you still rolled out a pretty standard, standard by Atlanta United means, at least in the past 3 years, a pretty standard lineup and a lineup that featured what you had. And I think it was the strongest lineup that you could have rolled out for the most part. And of course, like the conversation from that day has to be Luke Brennan for sure. And I'm glad, because I think he's absolutely going to get plenty of more time here tonight, probably, and then in the very near future. But I think one of the things that stood out to me the most actually was actually after the match in the press conference. And there was just, we know Rob. We've talked to Rob before. We've seen him back in 2021 when this whole thing happened the first time. And, Rob is a very no-nonsense guy, and he will not beat around the bush. And
what?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like this coming to a surprise to anybody. But in the press conference, when it was asked about, the schedule congestion and all that, and he said, it's disappointing for this result tonight at home, 2-2. However, he said, the storylines out there are essentially going to be that it's difficult to go win away in MLS. And he said, all I got to say is bring it, bring it on. So, those, first of all, those are kind of bold words, considering that apparently, MLS teams like to lose.
Yes, apparently so. Yes, thank you.
But also MLS road games are difficult historically, notoriously, especially for this team. So for him to kind of say, like, we want the pressure, now let's go get it. It was very, I think, different, obviously, than anything that you ever heard from Pineda publicly. I'm not saying that Pineda wasn't pushing his guys internally to go win on the road, but for Rob to kind of sit up there and accept that pressure was a pretty cool thing, I think, just from my perspective, because I think sometimes your players have to see that little bit of publicity, that little bit of extra pressure that you're putting on them from the outside. And not that they don't have enough pressure already in this team because of the results, but I just think it was just a stark contrast to the, I guess, kind of like public vibe that, Pineda always put off. So I'm curious to see what kind of attitude they come out with tonight based on kind of his comments the other night.
Jarrett, we played the comment that you found from Gigi in his opening presser, which is cut and paste boilerplate from the presser that he had when he was here with Atlanta. So now that we've started the discussion, we can take it literally most of Tyler's time before you came in and I asked that initial question about Atlanta and Houston, we were stuck on Gigi and his opening Cruz Azul press conference. That's how fired up Tyler's been this morning.
My favorite part of this was, like, I saw he put up a new post of Cruz Azul stuff, and the first comment I see is Tommy. And Tommy's just like, "Hey, thank you, Atlanta. See, it's not hard." Like, all I can think is like, wow, the pettiness is just going to flow through us all for a while here, because the results aren't here and this happened. The pettiness is going to be peaking at really dangerous levels.
Oh, well, yeah, well, and I said, Jared, now I want that Cruz Azul, a knockouts match here at Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, buddy, I just want to hear what the crowd sounds like.
Well, if a certain clip gets played,
well, but not. It's going to be a mixed bag, because you also still have a guy who put up, I think, the best goals per 90 in the league last year. Wasn't taking PKs and damn near won the boot. So
yeah, he was on 53% of the time.
Yeah, there was good, and then there was bad. Oh my God. I'm glad you also got to laugh at this. At this point, I'm just having fun with it, because it's just, the car's in a ditch and somebody set it on fire for the insurance.
Absolutely.
Kind of where we're at.
Yeah. And apparently now I'm supposed to, now I'm to the point where I'm supposed to read my daily update of him not posting anything to Atlanta in a Ted Baxter voice.
Emilio, it's the one we talked about yesterday. It's the people are okay losing in MLS. I don't know, man. People aren't really okay losing here, judging by the comments I have to read every day.
Yeah,
and judging by, like, when I did a post game with Abe, with the comments we got at the station, people are not okay with drawing, much less losing. I guess my question for you, Tyler, is the midfield. We saw the Muyamba Dax McCarty setup. I know Dax is not a spring chicken anymore. How do you think you're going to balance the midfield going forward in these tight stretches?
You got to find some of that Michael Jordan like Space Jam juice to give Dax. I don't know, man. Dax is. I said it last week. I feel like Dax is going to be the most important player on this team for the next 2 months. But like you said, he's not young. He can't play, a Saturday, Wednesday, and then Saturday game. He just can't do it. So that's tough on anybody. You got to trust in the J Fortunes. You have to, at some point, I think you've got to bring up a Javier Armas. Of course, Muyamba can go for a long time, but you're going to have to rely on like the J Fortunes and the Nick Firminos, and whatever kind of setup that you want to do, whether it is actually having like a true number 6 where that just sits back and does what Dax does. I think the communication just has to be clear, whether it's a young guy or not. I think you just have to go into it with the sense that they're going to be very much defensive oriented. They're not going to provide the leadership, which is fine. I mean, you still have guys out there that can do that. That's not what it's all about. But Dax just has the experience. And I think, maybe you can coincide a little bit of this with when you get like a Stian Gregerson back, but you have Derek out there that can help, kind of facilitate things and maybe mitigate any like the youth mistakes. But I think you have to use Dax as much as you possibly can, because I just feel like the team looks more organized when he's on the field.
You mentioned a lot of names for the twos, and it was a point that I think that we've been making for a while, and a point that I reemphasized inside Mercedes-Benz is that this time between now and Leagues Cup is going to be the select your twos, choose your adventure showcase. And it's you look at the names and it's going to be, I mean, legitimately Firmino, Armas, Brennan, maybe Matt Edwards is a part of the discussion. I mean, this could go any number of 19 different ways, but that's why you build a program like this and have a team in MLS Next Pro like this. So when the situation forces itself upon you and Cool Hand Luke decides that he wants to nutmeg playoff Franco Escobar and leave him in the dust by about 10 yards, you can have those kinds of moments from kids. And I say that because I'm 712 years old, that folks who have been a part of the process. I mean, Noah Cobb was playing in USL Championship when he was 15.
Yep.
Going up against Cameron Lancaster, who's twice his age, and not flinching, didn't care. And you're getting the same stuff from Alan Carlton and Luke Brennan. These are guys that have come through this system, played against older dudes, didn't flinch, and now they're getting the chance to do it with the first team. I mean, this is going to be where literally you're going to have that the scorecard and roster and the first team scorecard and roster, so you can sit there and go, okay, so if this, then this. It's a flow chart from hell for the next month.
Yeah, and if you can channel whatever it was that Luke brought to that match the other day with all those young guys, you're sitting pretty. And I even put that in the article that I wrote that night. Like he was an example in a lot of ways, not just to, the Alan Carltons and the other twos, guys of the world, but like I think the whole team needed a little bit of that passion. Like, not that the rest of the team weren't trying, weren't showing it, but he just came in and said, screw it. Like I'm going in. I'm unafraid. I'm going to be taking guys on 1v1. I'm going to cause 1/3 almost of the players on this field that are not wearing Atlanta United colors to get a yellow card. One of them is going to shove me in the back because he's that angry that I'm working him over. Like he just came in and decided to cause chaos, and it was
like your favorite drop.
Get the clip of him entering after Evan Mosquera was subbed off and just lay that over it, and it would be beautiful. It would be, and then do a Luke Brennan every single touch, montage after that. It would be amazing. I love it. I love it.
I've opened the door with you for Luke Brennan. Jarrett, go for it with Tyler.
Abby, he is like that every game. You don't have to. The Tower's one of the people you don't have to tell that, because usually we're screaming at people to watch the twos. I don't have to yell at Tower to watch the twos.
We've seen Tyler watch the twos.
That's what I mean. Like Tower knows what's up. Yeah, man. I guess let's shift it to the back line now to like try and balance all that too, because you are going to be still missing guys. You're still missing a Braum.
Stop encouraging, Jared.
What?
Stop encouraging that we're still going to have folks that missing at the back.
No, I choose not to. You're missing a Braum. It feels like you are going to get more of the Noah Cobb show. How often are you throwing something to somebody like an Efrain Morales to see what, especially as the season goes on, to see what you've got in him, because he is out of contract at the end of the season?
I mean, I think you have to do it regardless, because it feels like, again, we know him with the twos, but it feels like the moments he's been thrown into these like high pressure situations with the first team, Chicago, and with the second team as well, but he's just done really well. So yeah, I mean, this might be, you might have gone into this season thinking, all right, well, is he one that might not stick around? And I think he's on his way to convincing folks, like, maybe let's have a second thought, right? Like, let's see if maybe, I don't want to call him a late bloomer, but let's see if maybe.
Remember, I mean, he legitimately had to grow to his 6'4" frame. And when you literally have growing pains, and I mean that both figuratively and literally, the injuries that were associated with trying to get adjusted
let me literally tell you about the growing pains of getting over 6'3".
Yeah.
Because it is physical, and it's also coordination wise.
Mm-hmm.
It is, because imagine someone just hands you a body bigger than everyone else's, and you have to go figure out how to use it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you never do. Yeah, it is. Like my dad told me that back in the day, like watching me run the base. He's just like, it was like watching a deer run. He's like, you didn't know how to use your legs. He's like, there's a couple times you get up on your toes and you look like you were actually running, and then your body would freeze up and fall over. Yeah, man,
like,
it's hard.
That's like one of those fainting sheep.
Yeah, it's it's tough, man.
Well, I mean, that's where you look at someone like an Efrain Morales, and like I said, the Chicago game is what sticks into my head. Plus, Open Cups and things like that, where Efra is not afraid of getting into these situations and almost getting points for Atlanta in Chicago if his header had been redirected a foot to the right,
Yep.
So I think it is an opportunity for Efra to showcase what he has, using the verb again, grown into. And that's what you want. All you want in these situations is that opportunity. And I think that Efra has earned that opportunity. And we see the relationship that Noah has with Luke going up the right-hand side. We've seen the relationship that Efra has had with Noah, working second team minutes and the occasional first team minutes. So the rhythms are there. It's just, once again, not being intimidated by your surroundings that you're going to be with over this next month.
Yeah, and I think that's where you don't have to worry about them, I think, being intimidated, right? Because we sit here and say every week, like, how these guys, Noah's, Efrain's, Luke's, insert 2-player here, like, they're all unafraid. They're all fearless. And it's not like a fluky one-off thing. Like, we see this every single week. So I don't think you have to be worried about that. I think you just have to be worried about just some of the experience stuff. Like I mentioned, having Derek back there, he's going to be one that's going to help keep things under control as best he can. That's where you enjoy having your Daxes because the IQ is there. And that's not to say that Noah Cobb and Efrain and Luke and all them have low soccer IQ, because I would argue that they actually are way smarter in terms of the game than just about any other person in MLS their age. But there's still something to be said for a guy that has played 855 games, and just has like tons of experience back there doing things. And so ultimately, I mean, I think there might be a matchup or two coming up that you might be able to work it to where you have to use a Noah and an Efrain, for most of the game. And I think I don't think DC's that one, because obviously they have Benteke and you got the issues with what happened last time. You can't go putting up that's the experience. You can't go put an 18-year-old up against a guy that played, overseas and was good. So ultimately, I think Rob's going to have to piece part it together and just be strategical in terms of when he puts the youth back there, because he's going to have to. The older guy minutes aren't going to be able to keep up. And then you work with what you can. You have to just trust in your depth. And Dax said it in his podcast the other day. He said, we believe in everybody on this team. And that's not an Atlanta podcast. That's his thing that he does, the Major League Tournament. And he's coming out and saying, we know we have a good team, and we know that we have to rely on our depth, and we believe in our depth. And it was more than just the boilerplate comments. I really do think that the guys trust the youth on this team.
Jarrett, go for it.
It's funny because I think despite the weird season, you've gotten a year now where you got another one of these in the game Sunday or game Saturday. I forget what day it was. Backup striker goals, a position that this club has struggled with. And now you have really two guys who are pouncing on moments and doing the hard work. Like Daniel Rios works his ass off, even when it doesn't pay off in a goal. But man, you finally got backup strikers that work, and now they become regular strikers for the time being, at least until late June or late July, excuse me.
And first of all, that's the thing. It's so weird to have this conversation, because it just hasn't worked at all over the years. There hasn't been a backup. I mean, Dom Dwyer was cool, but both him, Rios and Tiare, they're just putting in the work, and it's like they really do understand that next man up thing. But I think they also just want to be starting. And, you have a moment like this with a coach change and everything else, opportunities are going to pop up, and you have to take advantage of it. And I feel like Daniel Rios did that the other day. I thought he was, like you said, very good. He did a lot of the dirty work that, you don't typically give a lot of props to, but he also got rewarded with the goal. And that goal came from his just relentless effort in the first place. So, I mean, it's nice to have it, which is it's a great thing to be able to say, all right, if one guy's down, or if one guy's in Mexico saying that, MLS likes to lose or whatever.
It's okay to lose in Major League Soccer.
Yeah. We have two guys back there that can pick up the slack. And at least Daniel Rios and Jamal Tiara haven't come out and said that they like to lose. So we have that going for us.
Day 4, Major League Soccer likes to lose. Number 11. Thank you, Mary. Yeah. So, something like, so when obviously, are you thinking just off the top of your head that it's going to be trying to, and Rob had some fun with it in discussing, how are you, the press conference, how do you plan on tackling Christian, having success against DC United and Christian Benteke? Ask him not to play. That's a good zinger to start things off with from Rob. But I'm thinking that it's going to be some combination of Dax, Derek, and Noah collapsing something akin to a supernova around Benteke, so he can't even breathe for however long he's going to be there, and remind him that you are there. Be physical with him, even though it might be more like, a mosquito and you're kind of going like that. But just, take your finger and expose the knuckle and, pop him in the ribs a little bit, remind him that you're there, and see how he reacts to being as physical as you can get in a situation like this, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, Noah could go up against Benteke, I think, again, now knowing what happened last time.
Yeah.
And he might come in a little too hot, which is okay.
Yeah.
Just let him know you're there, buddy. Don't let him have the game that he had last time. I also, we talked about all the depth and everybody else. I mean, this might be a game where you do try having that third center back and switch it up a little bit. I mean, and this is a time to do it. You could have Efrain and Noah and Derek, Derek flanked by the other two, just so he's kind of in the middle. And then you have Dax back there to help out. And DC over the past 4 games has not scored a ton of goals. They're, obviously Benteke, when he gets going. And we saw that. It's frustrating. It's always against Atlanta.
Charlotte pinned in DC the other day.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's possible to take their one benefit, their one strong point out of the game. You just have to be very, very organized about how you do it. And I think that's where, again, having the Derek Williamses and the Dax McCartys on the pitch is going to benefit you immensely. So you would have hoped it would have been at home when they figured that out. But, if they go out and win tonight, after everything that Rob said the other day in the press conference, and then, of course, everything else going on with Atlanta's record and all, this would be a big, big time win if they could pull it off.
Jarrett, go for
it. To move off that for a second, I want to ask how much of the Euros have you been keeping up with?
A good bit. I didn't watch any of the games yesterday, but I was keeping track of them. I watched every game.
One match that was available on non-Vixie TV.
Yeah.
Non-Fubo TV yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, all three are available on Fox or FS1 today, including the one right now.
That is correct. 1-0 at the break. Albania leading Croatia. Croatia, who probably is going to get to apply for Social Security at some point as a roster in the next couple of seasons. So, keep going, Jarrett. You're on a roll.
I did watch the opener, and because I actually I have Scottish ancestry, and I was just hoping, and that went out the window very quickly. So
I can warn you about that.
I knew it was going to happen. I had an idea, but also I figured, Germany's so up and down. You never know what you're going to get.
Steve Clark decided to be scared. It happens. Actually, the teams of the match day, like the Who Scored and Sofa Score team of the match days came out, and then somebody created an inverse, like the worst teams of the match day. I think it was Who Scored's worst team of the match day. The entire back line was Scotland.
Wow.
And the other one, the goalkeeper was Scotland.
Wow.
And the 6 was Jack Hendry. It was basically like all of Scotland's midfield and defense. It was the worst rated team in the Euros so far. So, hey, nowhere to go but up. We found bedrock as far as we know.
Yeah, and Ryan Porteous has found the bench for the rest of the group stage.
Yeah. Also, do you have any food recommendations for Lionel Messi hanging out in Kennesaw?
Oh, that's true.
Something that will. Well, never mind. They're not playing the U.S. anytime soon, so I guess that might be a little facetious. I was going to say anything that would tear his stomach up, but I don't want Argentina to lose.
I mean, the McAllisters is right down the street from
Yeah. I was going to say, he could go find a Hattie B's. I know that's Nashville, but they have them here. Go find you a Hattie B's and get you some spicy fried chicken, man, and just see what it's like. God, guarantee you I can find you a better pizza place than the one you found in Miami. That was ridiculous.
I mean, there's the cookouts right there.
Oh.
That's true.
Ooh.
There's a Del Taco. There's a cookout right there.
Yeah.
There's a Whataburger on the main strip on Chastain.
Oh.
Yep.
Hutch is helping out with Martin's.
There you go.
Oh, buddy.
Send him downtown to the not downtown, but Little Five, and to go to the Vortex.
Yeah. Well, Martin's will turn his stomach into a cement mixer.
Could you imagine? Because you know how it is too. It's not like these guys are typically eating that kind of food, so it's like okay every once in a while. Like they don't eat this kind of food, so you come to the deep south, and you've never really had this kind of stuff. That's a wrap, buddy. That's going to be a long 3 or 4 days for you in your stomach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could just send him to the Cracker Barrel up there on there's a Cracker Barrel on Chastain just off 75.
That's true.
Yeah. Get him some apple butter and some biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Get him a George Strait CD on the way out the door.
A turntable with an old record.
Couple of Raceway taquitos.
Oh.
Lionel Messi bought a rocking chair outside the Cracker Barrel
and a checkerboard.
Yeah. We just go in.
He's playing checkers with Lautaro Martinez.
Best player in the world, just sitting in a rocking chair playing checkers next to the fireplace with a blanket over his legs. He's a 70-year-old woman on the frontier.
Get him a black 10-gallon cowboy hat with the hay sticking out of the side of his mouth.
He can go get some old classic root beers or sarsaparilla or something from the corner. Yeah, I like this fan fiction. This is fun.
What is this? Sir? That's root beer, sir. That's a sarsaparilla. Oh yeah, get him to play the golf tee.
Golf tee game, yeah.
Oh, that'd be tremendous. Who on the Argentine national team would be the most frustrated by the golf tee game?
Debu, for sure.
Oh yeah,
he would throw it.
Or actually, you know what Debu would probably do? He would probably sit there and he would go to a teammate and sit there and go, "Hey, look over there, man. Is that are they changing the price tags?" And he sits there and he does like some skips.
The golf pulls everything out except for one.
It just changes them around.
Exactly.
Oh man. Well, I need this now.
Yes, I think so. So just take the buses. Now, I mean, I give the Argentine fans a lot of credit for finding the fraction in the first place, lining the road.
It's the only stadium in Kennesaw, man.
But they've got to get through the traffic on 75 North to get off at Busby, and then find it and get up there. I mean, shoot, they had to have left like 3 days ago to find practice to get there in time if they're going up 75.
They got off on the right side of Chastain. Okay, they didn't. You made the right decision, which is when you get off 75 North, you go right. You don't want to go left because then that's the school, and then there's a mellow mushroom over there, and really not much else. Used to be a decent brewery over there, but it shut down because I think the owner committed insurance fraud.
That's not good.
No.
So Tri-County no longer exists, but otherwise, like there's the small airfield, and then you start getting into downtown Kennesaw, which isn't really where you want to be.
No,
it's not as fun.
That is absolutely true. By the way,
yeah, there's a Marlowe's over there. Oh my God, you're right.
Atlanta United has signed Matt Edwards and Matias Gajardo to short-term agreements. So, in our Tuesday discussion, Matt Edwards and Matias Gajardo, they have been signed for short-term agreements for the matchup against DC. Quoting the Atlanta United press release, per 2024 MLS roster rules and regulations. Sorry, Ted Baxter. Per 2024 MLS roster rules and regulations, a club may sign a player aged 25 or younger during the league season from its affiliate to a maximum of 4 short-term agreements up to 4-day contracts each season, maximum of 16 days. Individual player may be included on up to 4 MLS League season match rosters each season. However, that player may appear in no more than 2 MLS League season matches. I'm sorry, that rule's got to change.
Yes.
An individual player may appear in any number of non-league games during the terms of his 4 short-term agreements. So Matt Edwards has signed his 4th and final short-term agreement this season since he joined on December 22nd, 2023. I re-emphasize that this rule has to change. But Gajardo and Edwards are part of the crew that is going to play DC United. So, it's cool that we got into that we're seeing that them added to this whole thing. But once again, getting to the whole point that the rule has to change. It's got to be like the NBA where you can just sign folks to a 10-day contract, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Cool, fine, whatever. 4, and now you've apparently done the 4th one for Matt Edwards, and you can't use him anymore this season with the issues at the back now. And so you're hoping against hope that you don't have to worry about any kind of other roster additions that you need at the back, because Matt Edwards is apparently now 4 for 4.
Yeah, and he's one of your guys that is adding depth at one of the back positions, right? Like either left or right back, because he can play both. But you've got Caleb, and then of course the rumor about the new guy coming in, but that's still going to be a ways away. If it
Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, sir. I don't know if we can handle that during transfer windows.
We got too much going on this morning.
Oh man! Second half has already started. Albania still leads 1-0.
But no, I mean, first of all, the club clearly rates Matt highly. I mean, and they should. I think Matt's a great guy. I'll give a quick plug. Henry did a great article on Matt a couple of days ago over on our website.
There you go.
So go check that out. But I mean, I like it. I don't know that you're going to have to use him, but it would be irresponsible to not make this call up considering just what you have ahead of you, right? And what you have as far as the depth that you could have used during this tough stretch of games. So, it's always a gamble with this stupid rule, because you should be able to confidently say, like, all right, we have yay many guys out on international duty. We have yay many injuries. We have had issues with depth, whatever. Yeah, you played right back, so I'm going to bring you up just because I can, not because I've got to do algebra to figure out when I can bring you up. Like, it's so stupid. But, the thing is, at the end of the day, if he gets the time, I think he'll do well. And that's all you can ask for.
Player algebra.
Yeah.
Last thing we need is player algebra in all of this.
It's true.
Yeah.
People are going to be really upset when Gajardo doesn't like play. He's up here to provide depth just in case, God forbid, something happened. Like, people are going to be really mad when he doesn't play, or they're going to lose their minds if he does, because Matthias might be insane. There's a very good chance he is clinically insane with the ball at his feet. Because his firm belief that he is going to dribble everyone in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at it this way. Since you only have 4 short-term call-ups available per individual in a season, he can get 4 yellow cards in 4 matches and not have a fifth occur, so he's not having a suspension.
This is galaxy brain decision-making right here.
See? That's what we're here for, man. Emilio's asking, do we think that Firmino and Fortune will show anything? Yes and yes. I think so.
You're going to need Firmino coming up here with the Olympics.
Yeah, you are.
You need somebody to play, and he's not going to play the 10 the same way, but
yeah,
you're going to need something from him. You low key dodged a bullet when Trinidad got knocked out by Canada.
Yep.
Because could you imagine trying to put all this together right now without Jay Fortune in the midfield?
And that's the struggle that I'm trying to figure out, is not so much if they'll show up, because they will. I mean, I'm not worried about that. I mean, Nick, this is the time when you want to get him going in whatever way you can. And he's got it. He really does. It's just going to be a matter of kind of turning that curve in MLS. And Firmino got that little taste of it, right, in his very short cameo against New York last year. But, Jay, he brings, if nothing else, he's going to bring energy. He's going to bring, lots of mobility. He's going to defend, even if it's a little crazy at times. But you just got to figure out who, if Dax isn't playing, who's going to be essentially that number 6. I think that's my biggest kind of point of contention, because, again, Jay, as much as he's been put as a defensive midfielder at times, I feel like he's better as an 8, moving the ball forward a little bit more. It's just nice when you have a guy like a Dax McCarty or even a Slish, who that's what they do. They're just a defensive midfielder, and they do it really well. And taking both of them out of the team, whether it's for the Euros or just because they can't play, 180 minutes back to back, I think you lose a little bit. You just got to figure it out, and that's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. David is requesting at some point in hour number 2 that we discuss the Sophia Smith NWSL release.
Buddy, did you see this, Tower?
I did not see that. I've missed a lot, man. With
okay.
This move.
All right,
okay.
so Jarrett, go ahead and go for it. Since we're keeping Tyler, and the 4th has held up the light board, and we're just like, screw you, taxpayer.
Let's
go.
For it.
Okay, Tyler, did you see her red card she got?
I did not see. I've heard about it, but I did not see it.
Okay, yeah, you know the gist. Like, she was on the bench already on a yellow, on the bench, takes the ball and hides it underneath the bench, like she's at the media game kind of thing. Gets a red. So Portland appeals this red. NWSL rules that the appeal is frivolous. So Portland does not get their bond back that they put up for the appeal. Her fine and suspension are doubled. So she's suspended for an extra game, and her fine is doubled. And Portland cannot appeal a suspension for the next year, for this season and next season.
Are you serious?
As a heart attack.
The panel unanimously denied the appeal and deemed it frivolous because the Thorns forced, this is from our friends at Oregon Live, because the Thorns forced the panel to review what they determined was an unnecessary appeal by the union. The panel decided to punish Smith by doubling her suspension to 2 games, increasing the fine associated with the red, and the panel punished the Thorns by taking away their right to appeal any other decisions for the remainder of this season and next.
So they basically said, Y'all come at me with something stupid, and I'm doubling everything. That's amazing. Wow. Wow.
Yep. The NWSLPA appealed the decision to the review committee. The review committee unanimously upheld the Players Association appeal, rescinding the additional 1-game suspension and increased fine. But the review committee let stand the loss of the bond and the inability to appeal any other decisions in 24 and 25. By the way, she's the league's leading goal scorer.
Right. Y'all taking it away for next year, though. That's crazy.
Kansas City Current were thrilled about this because now they don't have to deal with her.
Yeah.
Like, cool. We don't have to see her. That's a great day for us. But yeah. This year and next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for wasting our time here in class. So, by the way, we're making our test longer for you.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't sit down and actually look at this thing again. They already saw it. They're like, we're not, whatever. Like, this is stupid. They spent no time.
You're blanking. You're blanking kidding me with this?
Yeah.
It's like your kid does something really dumb and then comes and tries to complain to you and lobby you. And you're like, no, I'm already in a bad mood from your bad decision.
Yeah.
Don't make it worse.
And both of you as fathers know all about this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And now you're going to be made an example of.
Yeah. And see, Tyler's got more than one. Tyler can like set an example with one for the others. Like one person can be made an example of for others. I only have one. If I make her an example, there's no one else to learn the lesson. So it's just a one-off. I have less work to do than Tyler does.
Oh, that's true.
Well, and now, in that same vein, like, I guarantee you Orlando or Kansas City or any other team, insert team here, is definitely not going to go and do it now. That the example has been made, and now everybody is probably going to have a little second thought about going and trying to appeal anything.
Yeah, it was just funny when it happened because I watched the clip of, I'm like, this looks like something we would have done at the media game. Like, time's running out. The ball rolled out of play. And one of us took the ball and like hit it under or just sat on it.
Yeah. Like, or just turned, like, kicked it towards I-75 or something.
Yeah. I could see Jarrett doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd miss, but yeah.
No, you'd launch it, and however far it goes, it's just like, man, I was trying to get it on goal, and I just pull hooked it. I don't know what happened.
As he's facing towards the interstate.
Yeah, as the ball just kind of goes like this and heads toward the interstate.
I wasn't trying to waste time then. Why'd you pull out a buck knife and stab the ball?
Or I could see Maddie doing something like that. Absolutely, I could. Yeah. She's not here. I can say that.
She can't defend herself. It's fine.
No, she can't. That's absolutely true.
That's perfect.
Yes. So we have kept you for an hour, my friend.
Anytime. I'm having fun. I've learned 2 new things today too.
MLS
move has pulled me away from things. I'm normally pretty in tune, but I've learned 2 really good stories today. One which makes me angry still, but that last one was pretty funny. I like it.
So you cross the NWSL. Yeah, it literally it's like it's like our buddy the principal in the Breakfast Club. Mess with the bull, you get the horn.
I love it.
You get the horns, and so Portland got the Thorns got the horns in this case. And also, apparently, it's okay to lose in Major League Soccer, especially in Atlanta.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah, I know.
Who knew?
Exactly. I mean, that's legitimately that's what you learn on especially on Wednesdays when much like no other day here on the show, things go completely and totally off the rails. And that's how this is sometimes,
And now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, so that's where we are here on a Wall Pass Wednesday.
Why do you have a Paul Harvey drop?
Because it's appropriate toward the end of the show, end of a show or end of a segment, or you can do something like this.
Good day.
It's all out there, man. It's like, why do I have a Leroy Jenkins drop? Because
what year do you think it is?
1975, and I'm listening
close enough.
to CST at noon when Paul Harvey goes from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. I'm out playing baseball in my backyard and reenacting the 75 World Series with Carlton Fisk, and Paul Harvey's 12:30 to 1 o'clock with the commercials is going on 640 WGST.
You've organized this in your head a little too well.
It was
Damn
good.
right I have.
It was good.
Damn right I have. So, but I mean, look, there are so many other things that I could have as drops. It just depends on the proper situation.
I mean, you've hit them pretty good today for sure. They've all definitely come in at the perfect time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so that's what we're here for. Promo, what's going on with you and Scarves and the letter N Spikes and all of the live shows and all the things, because you're getting pretty busy, aren't you?
We are. We'll have our regular show. Well, it'll be a little different because it'll be before the match tonight, but we'll be doing like a pre-match thing and then doing a watch along type deal on for patrons. So that'll be the thing tonight. But then tomorrow, Copa America, obviously kicking off. We'll be at the Signia Hotel right next to the Benz 2 hours before kickoff, and we'll be doing a live show there for about an hour, just kind of getting everybody prepped for Copa America and hanging out. And place has a brand new menu that they just released this week, kind of for Copa America and the Euros and all. So yeah, y'all come hang out.
Okay, so very good.
Survey says one more for the good guys.
There you go. So, Tyler, as always, you can crash at any time. You got golden ticket status, but I know that you're juggling moving. How long do you think it's going to take you to deconstruct your office there?
Well, we're going to find out tonight. I don't know. This is the one room in this house that is like still relatively put together, like not completely. Like I used to have my TV right here and it's now in my bedroom. But all of it's going over. But this room, probably a solid 2 hours at least. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Well, remember, shower, multiple shower rods.
Yes.
Shower rods and towel racks. That's what gets you through this whole thing.
Yes.
So you don't have to do what the boss did and reinforce all of the curtain rods and things.
Yeah. So otherwise you start getting a little bow action going on.
Yeah. So the boss had to reinforce them. That's where we are. So go get some calf instead of the decaf that is currently in your cup.
Yes, I am. That is my next stop.
All right. Thank you, my friend. We'll catch up with you, and we will see you either A, at Signia, or B, inside the Merc, and we will see you when Copa America hits town.
Sounds good. See y'all.
All right. There you go. That's Tyler. Jared, it's time for Weekend Whip Around.
Apparently, everybody thinks I don't like Paul Harvey. I'm fine with Paul Harvey. I got to listen to the news all the time with my mother. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So I was waking up with her at 4 a.m. in the morning and like sleeping at the station and like going into work listening to the News Monster era of GST.
There you go. The News Monster, Tom Hughes, Steve Holman, doing all of that stuff in the mornings. It is time to go through juice boxes and previews and all the other things that are going on. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty busy evening for our buddy Kevin Egan and our friends at #MLS360. At some point, they're probably going to have an octo box, if not something larger, with the 8:30 kicks in the witching hour. So we'll go through everything here, starting off at 7:30. And there actually is activity going on in other leagues tonight, by the way, in addition to what we're seeing with the triple header. And apparently with 30 minutes to go, Luka Modric is complaining about something. Still down 1-0 to our friends in Albania. You got USL Championship tonight, Pittsburgh and Louisville at 7:30, NWSL Angel City and Racing Louisville at 10. Those are both on CBS Sports Network. You've got all of the activity on Big Fox has the 3 o'clock Scotland and Switzerland. We know that Jarrett's clearing the table for that. The 9 a.m. and the noon are on FS1. Everything is on Apple TV and MLS Season Pass involving what's going on in the midweek. USL Championship tonight, Birmingham and San Antonio at 8, FC Tulsa and the Miami FC at 8:30 from 1 OK. League One has Greenville and Charlotte at 7 o'clock. Those are on the Plus. Golasso Network has Gotham and San Diego at 7. And Paramount Plus has the simulcast of same and has Oakland Roots and El Paso Locomotive at 10 o'clock. VIX has all 3 of your matches in the Euro. So 7:30, and it took me the longest time to figure out that our friends at Odds Portal do this with the home team being alphabetical. And I'm sitting there going, oh, wow, CF Montreal's the first one on the board. No, it's because it's CF, and it's ahead of Charlotte. So CF Montreal hosting Red Bulls, Jarrett. CF Montreal's a plus 231. Your draws a plus 254. Red Bulls on the road are a plus 112.
I'll take that 112.
Oh, okay. Wasting
Red Bulls
no
are
time.
good. Well, I hope Red Bulls are okay while missing Lewis Morgan as he rots away on the bench of Scotland because Steve Clark doesn't believe in MLS players.
Yeah. All of the games tonight, by the way, are on the free side of Apple TV. You get a bit of a pregame show involving Cincy and Philly on FS1. So it truly is the summer of soccer and the spring of soccer for 2 more days on FS1 with the triple header with the Euro and at 7:45 kick. Cincy and Philly. We'll get to them in a bit. Our friends up 75 for the Crown hosting the Purple team at home. They're a plus 110. Draws a plus 256. Orlando City is a plus 237. And once again, they're without El Pulpo Gallese because of Copa America.
Draw, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. 7:30. We'll save that one for later. Messi and Friends at home hosting Crew with all of the apps. Messi and Friends are a plus 197. Your draw is a plus 284, and Crew are a plus 119.
And Crew haven't been as dominant. No, but now that CCC is over, they might get back to it. Give me Crew here on the road.
Okay, Crew on the road.
Obviously, Miami can be had in their own building. Obviously, as we've seen.
And so we will go there.
Emilio, what's wrong with Orlando? A lot.
Yes, a lot.
Orlando actually doesn't spend as much money as I think people expect them to spend. And as good as they were last year, a lot of it was short-term guys, and they lost those guys, and they did not replenish with bargain basement deals the same effective way as they should have. Orlando's got problems. They're just they're not awful. Yeah, but they're not great.
No. So they're just kind of there. Last week, Messi, Suarez, Rojas on international duty.
Sorry, my teams went off and Alex is triggered.
Yes, of course. Redondo Gomez recovering from injuries. Avalos and Ruiz red carded in the 11-9 win over Philadelphia. And
speaking of people who are in hell right now,
yes,
someone get a welfare check on Rich.
Yes, please, exactly.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, squad additions. Aziel Jackson was brought in from all caps for $650,000 max in Garber bucks, and Dylan Shambo is coming from Ligue 1. So those are the additions coming in for Crew, and we will see how it takes for them to integrate. North of the border, Toronto FC hosting Nashville tonight. Toronto, John Herdman decided to say in his last press conference that was the worst display by any of his teams in the 30 years of coaching in the loss to Chicago. So he ain't happy about it. And they get to host Nashville SC. Once again, a plus 117, draws a plus 241. Nashville SC on the road is a plus 236. And they are looking, this was last week, and our buddy Lucas Panzica is keeping an eye on all of this. For Nashville, it looks like B.J. Callahan is in the crosshairs to possibly take the gig in Nashville. He's on the short list, by the way. So we'll keep an eye on that with Toronto and Nashville. Toronto once again favored at a plus 117. Cincy and Philly, that one is that one is there as well. And Emilio, I think that Pareja might be a part of the hot seat discussion. It might be. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. With Cincy and Philly, that one is the matchup that's on FS1. It's on the free side of Apple TV. 4-2 win over San Jose. Yuya Kubo had one of the faster hat tricks in history of Major League Soccer coming off the bench. Lucho Acosta had 3 assists. Philly have just 1 win in their last 11. 1 win, 5 losses, 3 draws at Subaru Park this year. Kai Wagner wanted squad reinforcements. Jim Curtin confirmed that Julian Carranza is heading to Feyenoord. So you've got all of that going on in addition to who's there and who ain't. And it ends up right now being a rough road for Philadelphia as they head to Cincinnati, who's a minus 137. Union are a plus 346, and your draw is a plus 300. I think at some point with these 8:30 kicks, you're going to end up with an octobucks, and I'm going to have to take a picture. 8:30 kicks. Austin is at Q2 hosting LAFC. Austin is a plus 241. Draws a plus 284. LAFC is even money plus 100. FC Dallas hosting Minnesota United. FC Dallas is favored at a plus 108 at home. They draw is a plus 261. Minnesota United is a plus 239. Tomorrow morning, also in addition to what's going on with our guests with Nino Torres at 10, Nico Moreno at 10:30, we may have a special guest crashing the party in the 9:30 half hour. So runway's getting full of planes, and that's a good thing as we get you ready for Copa. Houston is hosting Seattle at Hell in a Shell at a plus 112. Draws a plus 248. Seattle is a plus 240 going on the road. Sporting at home hosting RSL. Juice Boxers have kind of thrown a blanket over both sides. They're within the margin of error. Sporting in the composite is a plus 160. Draw is a plus 258. And RSL to win is a slight favorite at Sporting at a plus 156. Also at 8:30 at all caps, it is St. Louis City SC at City Park hosting Colorado Rapids. They are favored on the minus side at a minus 103. Draws a plus 301. Colorado is a plus 239 on the road. Late nights, it is LAG hosting NYCFC. LAG is a minus 106. Keep an eye on roster rotation and see what Greg Vanney wants to do, or if he just is going to load it up with Puig, Peck, Paintsel, and the Bishop, Dejan Joveljic. Galaxy's a minus 106. Your draw is a plus 311. NYC is also a plus 239. San Jose and Portland is the latest of the late, and that is alphabetically latest of the late. So San Jose is favored at a plus 102. Draws a plus 301. Portland is at a plus 219. And going over some of the other facts and figures that are attached to the matchups in some of the ones to keep an eye on, Austin and LAFC. LAFC won 6 straight, 8 of their last 11 in Major League Soccer. Denny Bouanga with 12-6, chasing after Golden Boot. Timothy Tillman back from U.S. men's national team duty. And then you have Hugo Lloris, who's doing fairly well between the sticks. And you're also getting the most handsome man in Major League Soccer, soon to be, Olivier Giroud dropping after the Euros. Austin, they've lost 3 in a row, outscored 9-1. Reinforcements coming for Josh Wolf in the form of new DP winger Osman Bukhari, Danish defender Mikkel Dessler. But they're going to have to wait until July 18. So they're going to have to wait a month to get help on the wings and help at the back. So Austin might be in the world of Palace intrigue as we go. But getting into the standings, once again, standings coming into tonight. Miami, 2 points ahead of Cincinnati, 38 points to 36. That's the top of the East. Miami has played 19 matches. So they're at the 19 mark. Cincinnati's played 17, 2 matches in hand, behind by 2 points. Red Bulls are third at 30 points. NYCFC, that has caught fire, and we caught up with Dylan Butler last week to find out why in the wide world of sports this is happening. They are 6-3-1 at home and at 500 on the road. 29 points at 9-6-2 after that horrendous start. They are fourth. Charlotte is fifth, 28 points, 2-5-1 on the road, 6-1-3 at home. Columbus is sixth, but they have as much as 4 matches in hand on folks above them. They've only played 15 matches. 27 points, 15 matches played. So they have some room that they can wiggle with here. They have basically 2 or 3 matches in hand on the teams below them, 4 on Messi and friends. They've only played 15 matches because of that run they had in the Triple C. 27 points. Toronto is in 7th at 24, and then you have the gaggle, and I mean this, from 8th through the bottom. 8 through 15, legitimately, I'm not kidding. 8 teams separated by 4 points. And we knew that the East was going to be a street fight. Right now, Philly is 8th because of goal difference over Nashville. 5 goals make the difference so far. Philly at 4, 5, and 8, as is Nashville. Philly has plus minus, +3 to -2. So they have a 5-goal advantage in goal difference to make it 8-9. Then DC's in 10th at 19 points. 500 at home, awful on the road. Chicago at 18 points. Below 500 in both places. But they played one more match than Montreal. Montreal's at 18 points and in 12th. Atlanta, 17 points. Same record as Orlando, well ahead of them in goal difference. New England, they've caught fire recently. They've won a couple in a row. They are no longer well back of the pack. They have drafted their way back to the tail end of the lead lap in the East, and they are at 16 points at 5, 10, and 1, and they have still only scored 15 goals in 16 matches. 8 teams separated by 4 points at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. In the West, RSL on top, but they played one more match in LAFC. 34 points for RSL, 33 for LAFC. LAG is third at 31 points. Minnesota is fourth, 17 matches played. They have 29 points. That's Group 1. Group 2, we'll go ahead and put it through 10th. So 6 teams separated by 4 points. And that includes being in or out of the playoffs. Vancouver's at 25 points. Same number of wins, 1 less match played on Colorado, ahead on goal difference. Houston is in 7th at 23 points in 17 matches. Austin is in 8th. They played one more match than Houston, behind on goal difference, behind on points per match average. Seattle is currently 9th. Same record as Portland, ahead by 1 goal in goal difference, +1 to 2-0. Seattle is in the playoffs. Portland is out. St. Louis, 18 points on the year. They've once again, I think, been found out, and they've had some key injuries at important positions for them in their system with Bradley Cornell. 3, 5, and 9. St. Louis at 18 points in 17 matches. They're in 11th, 1 point ahead of FCD. FCD has not won on the road. Neither has St. Louis, by the way, this season. Kansas City at 3, 10, and 5. 14 points, 18 matches. And they've given up 36 goals this season. That is not the worst defense in Major League Soccer. That goes to San Jose. 2, 5, and 1 at home, 1, 7, and 1 on the road. San Jose's got 11 points. They're 3, 12, and 2. And they are at the bottom of the West. And Croatia has scored in the 75th minute, and they are tied at 1 with 15 minutes to go. Can Albania hang on and get a point and really cause trouble by the time that they get to match day last? So 15 minutes to go. Croatia and Albania are tied at 1s. Did you see this in Charlotte? Did you see this? Did you see this? We know that Greg Tepper wants some fixes to Bank of America Stadium in beautiful downtown Charlotte, to the tune of $650 million without a roof. A roof is not an attractive option, according to Tepper Sports and Entertainment and City of Charlotte officials. Earlier this month, remember, they made plans for the largest and most expensive renovation yet, requesting $650 million from the City of Charlotte to make it happen. The City Council is expected to vote on this on Monday. They're voting on the funding Monday. Keep an eye on Monday night. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. Proposed renovations include new seats, an outdoor gathering area, large video screen on the stadium's exterior, but no dome or retractable roof. Plan does not include partial covering for people sitting in the stands, something that Hard Rock has added as an example. Common for venues to host major sporting championships. This is from our friends at the Charlotte Observer and Mary Ramsey's article that came out this morning before the show. Right now, in comments submitted to the city online, people are questioning the plan, citing a desire to see Charlotte land more marquee events and create a more comfortable fan experience during harsh weather. One respondent said, quote, for $800 million, a roof should be included to allow the city to host Super Bowls and college football national title games. Otherwise, it's just lipstick. Tepper Sports and Entertainment and local leaders say they're confident the stadium can continue to comfortably host football games and concerts and compete for major events without a covering. Tepper says it's about modernizing the stadium, TSC, through a spokesperson, modernizing the stadium to deliver elevated experiences while preserving the overall character and location that fans have known and loved for decades. Tepper Sports and Entertainment cites Charlotte's climate as the reason why renovation plans don't include adding a dome or retractable roof. Tepper spokesperson told the Charlotte Observer, quote, we have a beautiful traditional stadium that has been a beloved landmark in Uptown for nearly 30 years. One of the best things about B of A is that you're able to experience the beautiful weather while enjoying the action on the field and pitch. Assistant City Manager Tracy Dodson told City Council members at a June 10 meeting that she talked to Tepper Sports several years ago about adding a roof and found doing so would cost several $100 million. It is an incredibly costly venture. David Abrams, an investment banker who advises the city on sports-related issues, said at the same meeting it's difficult to estimate the cost of adding a roof to an existing stadium. A fixed roof on a new stadium today costs $500 to $600 million. City Council member Malcolm Graham, who chairs the council's Economic Development Committee, said Tepper Sports made the decision that taking on the cost of a roof was not the direction that they wanted to go, and that's in quotation marks. Obviously, our funds are limited, so it really fit into our sweet spot in terms of affordability, he said of the plan the ownership group presented to the city. Graham said the planned renovations to the stadium will put Charlotte in line to secure big events such as international soccer matches, a Super Bowl, and the NFL draft. Quote, we have to be comfortable with who we are, and I'm comfortable with Charlotte and our ability to lure events. And hopefully the improvements to the stadium, if it's approved, will give us yet another step forward. By the way, sidebar, Euros, England and Denmark will be on a closed roof situation because of all the rain that's been going on. And now, as we discuss what's going on in Charlotte, we'll go back to the last match at 7:30 that we have yet to talk about. And there's a reason. Because there's somebody in Washington, D.C. that we get to talk to about said match. And this is where we bring in Jason. Morning, Jason. Oh, Wi-Fi, wonky Wi-Fi. Oh, there he is.
I'm going to be fading in and out.
Yes, you are. You will be fading in and out this morning.
How about we do this?
Save some bandwidth?
Maybe a little
bandwidth.
A little bit.
Okay. So we'll try it this
Maybe
way.
not.
So how is... No, you're good. I've got you so far. I've got you. You got your ears on? I got you. There. Yeah, we got you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay. So how is DC? He asked.
It's hot. It's people are freaking out about how hot it is.
So how hot
for us who live in Georgia, but no, it's good. Go back and check it out. Everything on Off the Woodwork from 92.9 The Game. Had a long America. Stephen Caldwell of TSN. We talked Scotland. We talked Canada. Atlanta United's new assistant coach. So lots of stuff has been going on, and we get ready for the game.
And the news that came out this morning, 10 o'clock, was that Matt Edwards and Matias Gajardo were signed to short-term deals to help out with the roster and filling it out for this particular match with DC. And we have mentioned that it is going to be one of those get to know your twos and get to know them intimately in this situation. But when I mentioned Gajardo and Matt Edwards to you, what do they bring to the table?
in Edwards' situation because it's his last short-term call-up. I know these rules are complicated and silly. Call-ups, you can play in 2 MLS games. The call-ups are not related to the number of games you play in the Open Cup. For able to play in the Open Cup in the quarterfinal, and he's been part of the last 2 Open Cup wins. That's, again, a dumb rule that MLS and the MLS Players Association have. Situations with guys like Edwards, who has, I think, shown at the second team level that he can play and he can contribute, and you'd like to be able to use your reserve team in that way. Matias Gallardo is another one who, in previous situations where you might have wanted to use him, you didn't have an international spot. Well, now you do right now, so you can bring him on this trip. The short-term call-up, you can play them in both games because it is about the number of days that they are called up, and neither one has played in MLS. It's Edwards' last call-up, so he's done with call-ups for the year. Regardless, you'd have to sign him to an MLS deal to use him again in anything. And Gallardo, if he plays in both games, even though he'd have other call-ups, he wouldn't be able to be called back up to be used. He could be called up for Open Cup, which is a whole different conversation, and that's your math today.
I was going to say, we were talking about the math that's associated with it. And if you were God of rules, if you were the one who was in charge of these kinds of things, we did come to the consensus that it is a silly rule and that you can only have 4 and that you can only be in 2 matches, that kind of a thing. How would you adjust this to where, if you were in a roster crunch, whether numbers or injuries or whatever, how would you adjust the rule to make it fit?
Well, the way you have to adjust it, because the limitation, and this has come up with Open Cup and rosters and complaints from people about MLS teams saying they're not as interested in the Open Cup because they can't play their reserve players because of the situations like we're dealing right now with Edwards.
Right.
The way you have to do it is it's twofold. You either have to go back to the drawing board with the MLS Players Association and get them to back off of the stance that you have to limit how many times you can use players who are in your second team who are not members of the Players Association. They're taking spots of members of the Players Association. That's the debate. Or you deal with the Players Association and you say that MLS Next Pro players who are on professional contracts, they need to become members of the Players Association. And then the Players Association grows. And then you can get rid of these kinds of dumb limitations. Now, if you want to have some limitations on reserve players being able to play with the first team, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that because you can't let teams get away from your roster rules and size limits and all those kinds of things. Don't ever buy into the Fantasyland argument that somebody's going to sign a designated player deal with LA Galaxy 2. It's not happening. Nobody's doing that. So we can stop with that aspect of it. Let's live in the real world. You shouldn't be able to rotate through 50 guys if that's what you want to do between your first and your second team and max it out and just rotate and use it freely. If you want to put a limitation on it, that's fine. It should be more than 4 short-term call-ups. Open Cup games should be exempt from it. Leagues Cup games should be exempt from it. Those should be opportunities, if clubs so choose, to use their reserve teams to get that kind of a feel here. But it's going to have to come with the Players Association. Either you need to make MLS Next Pro players members of the MLSPA, or the MLSPA is going to need to be convinced, probably financially, that this is the way that teams need to operate.
So coming into this matchup, 8 and 33 days, I think, regardless of competitions.
Oh, I can't keep up anymore.
I know it's horrendous. It is going to end up at points being a Choose Your Atlanta United 2's adventure coloring book. But we got to see a little bit of that with folks that we've seen for a long time. In the matchup against Houston, Luke Brennan comes in because of the injury to Edwin Mosqueda. Mosqueda is now out 3 to 4 weeks, and then recovery time either adds or subtracts to that, but that was the number that was given yesterday. Luke came in and was the Luke Brennan that we've seen and raising all kinds of hell. And obviously it's going to be a focal point to keep an eye on Luke going forward. But what are you anticipating coming out of Houston and heading into D.C. with the youth that will be on display with Noah and Luke and others that are going to be a part of this process?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Luke was really good on Saturday, but that doesn't mean he is going to be really good the next time out because he's a young player, and consistency is the challenge for young players. I think we've watched Noah Cobb kind of get through that consistency issue this season to where you're seeing the same Noah Cobb pretty much game to game. And that number of whatever the quality of the performance you want to put on it, it's been steady and it's also steadily risen. That's good. Young players, especially like Brennan, who has not started an MLS game yet, he's going to have some bad games mixed in with some good games. That's just the trajectory of a young player. So that's why coaches are careful. That's why coaches are going to bring them along slowly, because you don't want that bad game to then affect their confidence and have them play in a different manner. Brennan's a guy who is successful when he is playing with confidence. So you got to continue to feed that. And if that means he starts tonight, if that means he comes off the bench tonight, if that means he's just part of the trip and maybe he plays on Saturday, it depends on what's best for the group as a whole and what's best for his long-term development. So it's the same for Noah Cobb. That's the same for, although he's further along now, he's not in Caleb Wiley territory, but he's getting there. Efrain Morales is another one who is kind of in Luke Brennan's spot of a little bit of MLS experience, but not much. Still somebody that you're wanting to get through to that next side. Edwards and Gallardo are kind of the next ones coming up from the twos in that. Nick Firmino's honestly not far off of that as well. Someone who I think has had the challenge this year of going back and forth, which isn't easy, but that's how you break through. That's how you get to the next level. It's very rare you see players from a second team or an academy anywhere in the world who, when they make their debut with the first team, they immediately jump into the starting lineup and they play every game and every minute after. It's a very hard transition, and it does take some time. So keep that in mind with Brennan. If he doesn't play tonight, if he doesn't start tonight, if he plays limited minutes tonight, keep that in mind. This is a process. This is not an overnight thing.
Croatia now leading Albania 2-1 in the 90th minute.
I still think Croatia is washed, but Albania has fallen apart before our eyes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Albania and Ukraine were two of the teams that I was looking at to advance out of group, but I think that Albania has just run out of gas here. And Croatia, I said that they'd get out of group. Yeah, I said Albania would get out of group, and I said that Ukraine would get out of group.
Were you imbibing when you made those picks?
Well, I mean, I didn't say they were going to be second or thirds, but I did say that they were going to get out of groups.
Whew, Ukraine, okay, maybe, but that's bold on Albania. I don't think it's going to pay off.
Well, and I was leaning into the washed Croatia. That's what I was kind of leaning into that. Yeah, well, at least we get a triple header today with match day twos that we can actually watch on television. When it comes to DC, I know that we're all drawn to their redwood that they have at the point. He was silenced by Charlotte on the weekend. If you were a defensive coordinator and you had the task of either slowing down and or making Benteke irrelevant in a match, how would you go about doing it?
One, if I was a defensive coordinator, it'd be in a completely different sport. So that's the first thing.
True.
We need to get some defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators into MLS. That'd be interesting. I mean, look, he's going to win his aerial duels. There's nothing you're going to do about that unless you have Stian Gregerson, which if you do, is not going to be for very long tonight. So physically, you don't have a matchup that is great. So you need to limit his effectiveness in dangerous areas when he wins aerial duels. When he wins them on direct play, you need to limit his options on where he heads the ball to, where he flicks it on. I think most importantly, you need to deny the ball being played to him in the first place. And whether that is being played long by the goalkeeper, by the center backs, you need to be on point in pressuring the ball in those moments. And if the ball gets wide and you're into the attacking third, you need to defend the crosses better. And look, that's a gamble that against somebody like Benteke, I think you have to take more of. We had this conversation after the first game of the season against Columbus and their goal, and a lot of people yelling and screaming about, Brooks Lennon should have charged out there and closed it down quicker. Well, if he does, then there's more passes through and it's easier to pick out a pass. So the gamble is you like to stay compact and you like to be patient defensively in your defensive third. Okay, well, it's a different scenario this time around. They have one looming, gigantic, huge threat who has already hurt you this season. So it's worth, in this case, being a little more risky in terms of jumping out to press crossing opportunities, trying to take that away. If that means the fullback or the midfielder cuts around that fullback and hopefully doesn't put in a cross right then, but tries to drive in, okay, I'll take my gamble there. I'll rather have Stroud or Herrera or someone else trying to put the ball in the back of the net than being able to pick out Christian Benteke with a header. So you have to maybe approach that aspect a little bit differently here. But I think where you can really have impact against DC United is not high pressing in the sense that you're going to give the ball away, but when the ball turns over, don't let them launch it. Their center backs, their defensive mid, their goalkeeper, they want to launch the ball to Benteke and start the play in the attacking half from his head. Don't let him launch it. You're not going to win the aerial duels with him a lot of times, so don't make that what the game comes down to. Don't let them launch. Step out on crosses. Try to find those opportunities to disrupt DC rather than having Noah Cobb or Derek Williams go up against somebody who's got a few inches and quite a few pounds on you.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely got a few LBs on.
We have an update in the Euros.
Oh, hang on. All right, see how many seconds behind I am here. Okay, so I might
have faster TV in Washington D.C.
You probably do. Okay, so there, Albania's in transition. I'm at 94.0456 on my. So what are you at? 25 seconds ahead of me?
More than that.
Oh, wow. 94, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, all right. So they're getting close. Good through ball. Oh, deflected. Oh, okay. So now they just scored. So 94-21 just happened.
Way to undersell it there, John.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said an update. So, I mean, I figured everybody else had seen it before me. So Croatia. Croatia, Albania.
Be a spoiler for some people.
Oh, come on now. So, all right, we're tied at 2 with about 90 seconds to go, and it's less than that. So, I am.
Albania scored a little bit earlier. It was a great play. The Albanian player took a knee or shin to the face, but now Albania. And I go back to my original theory that Croatia is washed.
Yes, I'm right there with you. What other matches tonight intrigue you here in the midweek? As it's 3 matches in 8 days for everybody almost.
Well, I mean, I'm really Switzerland for this.
Yeah, Jason's, as you can tell, Jason's Wi-Fi is moody at best in Washington, D.C., and so trying to lay out and see when he can drift back.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi doesn't like.
No, it doesn't like the fact that Croatia equalized with time running out in the Euros. So you mentioned what's going on today in the Euros and match day. Let me go ahead, since we're 10 minutes to wrap, go ahead and go broadcast plans at 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. Yeah, Jason is getting the Secret Service treatment. I think so. He's getting analyzed for everything that he's been saying.
Yes.
Broadcast plans for you and Mike.
Broadcast plan 6:30, Five Stripes Countdown, 7:40 kick, 92.9 The Game, and the Odyssey app. And then I'll be back in Atlanta for Argentina and Canada tomorrow. Atlanta soccer tonight. After the match, I'll be at Reverb by Hard Rock.
Ooh.
Come say hello, and we'll be talking about a big, big day in Atlanta soccer tomorrow.
And then you've got Decatur FC on Friday, flying out first thing
Decatur
Saturday.
FC Friday, flying to St. Louis on Saturday morning. Then another AST live show Sunday night at O'Sullivan's in downtown Decatur. Decatur FC watch party, U.S. men's national team watch party. And AST will be live on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app from 9 to 11 Sunday night.
Yes, so it's it'll officially be the summer of soccer at that point. Enjoy DC, my friend, and get yourself some good sidewalk hot dogs on your way to Audi Field, and we will catch up with you Friday. We figure.
Yes, possibly, maybe. Who knows if I'm alive?
Exactly. So if he's alive, we'll see you Friday. Be good, my friend. Have a great call.
Adios.
All right, there's Jason, and so yeah, so we got the bulk of the conversation with Jason. So that's very, very cool. So all right, so we're at 97-40. I'm sure the match is over, and whatever's happening is happening. And one last dash for what I'm seeing anyway when it comes to Croatia and the possibility of them getting a full points out of this. Apparently we got whistles and full time. So full time, Croatia and Albany, and Albany, I knew I was going to do that. Albania, Croatia and Albania. Albania got a hard-earned point after having a lead, giving up the lead. Croatia 1 point in 2 matches, and Luka Modric has pulled the band out from his hair, and then so it's a shared result for Albania and for Croatia. At noon, it's Germany and Hungary. Jason said that he was going to be interested on Big FOX to watch Scotland and Switzerland at 3:00 as a part of his very, very busy day. So once again, thanks to Jason for dropping by in the SCIF that was his hotel in suburban Washington, D.C. So there's all of that. But yeah, the stuff in Charlotte right now, you've got to keep an eye on it all. Beyonce concert, Copa Americas this summer, never hosted a Super Bowl or a college football playoff. Last men's Final Four was in 94 at the Charlotte Coliseum. And so that means that you're probably not going to get a Final Four because they've all been in NFL stadia with roofs. Trend's going to continue till at least 2030. 2 of the 3 next Super Bowl sites have a dome or retractable roof. 15 of the last 24 have occurred in domes or stadia with retractable roofs. Same for the CFP. Asked whether not having a roof or having a covering hurts Charlotte when bidding for events. Charlotte Regional Visitors Authority said it's not commenting on specific aspects, but fully supports the proposal. So what you could be seeing if this vote does not happen on Monday, the way that David Tepper and Tepper Sports and Entertainment likes, keep an eye on things. Keep an eye on things there just to see what the response is. He angered folks in Rock Hill, South Carolina, because he tried to build a training facility, then stopped. Now he wants $650 million in public funding to spruce up B of A, but not put a roof on it. And he wants that from the city. And you've got 2 tenants inside B of A. So what happens on Monday if things go wrong? That's the big question. Atlanta United, by the way, a plus 236 on the road. DC United, a minus 103. Your draw is a plus 301. Alec Can has signed a contract extension through the end of the 25 season with FC Cincinnati. So news for the Lakeside High grad this morning. And also, let me see what other news is there and available before we get into the rumor mill and all of the other things that are attached. We mentioned the signings this morning, and I wanted to get into that specifically with Jason. And Lester's now in talks with Steve Cooper because apparently Graham Potter and his discussions have stalled, becoming the new Leicester manager. And so required reading today is from our buddy Joshua Clokey at the New York Times / The Athletic about Canada. Headline ahead of Copa America, Canada's vibes and brotherhood are dead. Like I said, we'll get into this more tomorrow. Jesse Marsh wants the Canadian men's national team to be nastier, harder, and maybe even less Canadian. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll go through the Joshua Clokey article tomorrow. Also on the board tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be a very, very busy day when it comes to guests. Nino Torres from Gold TV joining us at 10, and Nico Moreno joining us at 10:35, last half hour of the show. Probably going to be tracking somebody down in the 9:30. One of our golden ticket holders might be crashing the party in the 9:30 half hour before this individual has to go back into production meetings. So it'll be good to have this particular individual, if the meetings can coordinate, or even if we can get him in for a splash and dash to talk a little bit about Argentina and Canada and see what's going on there. We'll get you ready for all of the other activity that's going on during the day. We will review what happened yesterday. Tomorrow we'll review what happened tonight in Major League Soccer. Remember, Lee and White, 5:30 to 9. Scott Flood has done yeoman work to make sure that the atmosphere is going to be huge for the Argentina pre-kickoff for the Copa America. So big party at Lee and White. Your presence is requested to be there. It'll be great. And so 5:30 to 9, there's a lot of stuff going on. Legitimately, it is like a documentary premiere and hanging out with fellow Argentine fans and making sure that their experience leading into the matchup with Canada is cool. And there is the possibility of you, I say yes, you, winning a Lionel Messi jersey. And I want to get the particulars of how this in fact could happen. And so I want to get the particulars here and see what is going on with the Flood Project. And once again, Summer of Soccer, Argentina, Canada is at 8 on Thursday. But reminder, Copa America Argentina Pep Rally, you win a signed Messi jersey. It is a raffle by and for Passion Soccer. The 2022 World Cup documentary Muchachos will be screened. Native empanadas, ice cream, and tea vendors, games and contests, drums, cheers, songs to celebrate Argentina once again. This is at the Monday Night Garage. Thanks to, obviously, the Flood Project, Wild Heaven Beer in the West End, Monday Night Garage, and the Consul General for the Argentina Consul General here in Atlanta. All of them have gotten together with the Flood Project to put this on. So today, 5:30 to 9 at Lee and White in the West End. Win a signed Messi jersey, raffle by and for Passion Soccer once again. World Cup documentary, it's from 5:30 to 9, so you can catch the early part of the Atlanta United match, drive home second half, or you can stay and watch in other places. So 2022 World Cup documentary, Muchachos screening. Empanadas, ice cream, tea vendors, games and contests, drums, cheering, all you can do to celebrate Argentina. Win the signed Messi jersey. It's a raffle by and for Passion Soccer. Do it. And you can go to the Flood Project. And what you can do, if you can make it, you got to sign up. And it's an Eventbrite, but go to the Flood Project and on Facebook, and it'll send you to the Eventbrite invitation. Click in there, and you can be a part of what's going on at Lee and White, 5:30 to 9 tonight. Raffle by and for Passion Soccer, win a signed Messi jersey. I'm not kidding. So that's going to be fun. And an Argentina jersey. Argentina jersey. Not a Messi and friends, but an Argentina jersey. That's what it says. The Flood Project on Facebook. Let me post the link. Open copy link address. There we go. So how about we copy the link address, pass it along if you cannot make it. I know it's a lot. but literally just drag the Facebook link, and it's all over the place. But yeah, so step in, have fun, clear your calendars, possibly win a Messi jersey. So very, very cool stuff there. We mentioned what to watch, and it's mainly the Euros and ESPN. And you've got USL Championship and MLS on Apple. So gossip, rumor, and innuendo before we go. Chelsea is eyeing Atletico striker Amorodion as a part of it. Lyon have appointed Montemurro to replace Bompastor as manager. And Mbappe, obviously, it looks like he's going to miss the game coming up because his nose is broke. He's trying to figure out how to breathe and function more than anything else. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Chelsea interested in signing RB Leipzig striker Luis Openda. Mikhailo Mudryk could leave Chelsea as the Blues pursue Michael Olise. Dortmund hoping to take Brighton's Pascal Gross back to his homeland this summer. Southampton have asked about re-signing Danny Ings from West Ham. It's the four-letter paper, willing to pay up to $6 million for the former England striker. Manchester United considering whether to make an approach for Genoa's keeper Josep Martinez, no relation, despite Inter Milan having already agreed to personal terms with the 26-year-old. That's from Rudy Galletti. Everton have agreed to sign Tim Irogbunam from Aston Villa. Belgium's Amadou Onana set to leave Everton. Arsenal having made contact with the Toffees and won at least $50 million for the 22-year-old, four-letter paper. We mentioned Leicester City and Graham Potter. We've mentioned that is stalled. Keep an eye on Steve Cooper. Ajax interested in a cut price deal with Burnley for Wout Weghorst. West Ham keen on signing Sunderland's forward Jack Clark. Arsenal prioritizing midfield reinforcements after missing out on RB Leipzig's Benjamin Šeško. Sheffield United have opened talks with Forest over a deal for Joe Worrell. Birmingham City interested in signing 32-year-old English keeper Ryan Alsop from Hull. Manchester United remain interested in Bologna's Joshua Zirkzee, but the high commission involved is complicating things. Amad Diallo set to remain at United, key part of Erik ten Hag's plans. Arsenal have offered Estonian Karl Hein a new deal as the club's third-choice keeper. Chelsea set to reject a bid from ATLUTD for Conor Gallagher, three-letter paper. Gallagher has told Chelsea he will not be forced out this summer amid interest from Atletico, Spurs, and Villa. So that is your gossip, rumor, and innuendo. So that is the deal. Albania gets a point. Coming up at noon, Germany, Hungary, Scotland, Switzerland is at 3 o'clock on Big FOX. That gets you to 5 o'clock. Think of things to do. What you can do is you can drive to Lee and White and then keep an eye on what's going on in Major League Soccer starting at 7:30. So you've got all of the activity going on in Major League Soccer. You've got all of the juice boxes that we talked about there. Germany, Hungary. Germany's at a minus 400. Your over-unders at 3.5. And the Swiss are only a minus 115 in Cologne with the Scots over under at 2.5. I'd take the under, frankly, but only a 115. So Albania held Croatia to a 2-2 draw, and that's how things started up today. So as always, thanks to Jason. I know he was fighting wonky Wi-Fi, and more power to him for trying to get out of that SCIF in one piece. That's how it is in Washington, D.C. Thanks to Tyler for hanging out with us for the better part of an hour and going through all these things. And we still found out that it's okay. Apparently, teams in Major League Soccer don't mind losing, specifically in Atlanta. So, yeah, tomorrow, busy. We're going to recap what happened last night. We will recap what happened tonight, tomorrow. Special guest, hopefully, at 9:30, catching them on the fly. 10 o'clock, Nino Torres, 10:30, Nico Moreno, and that'll get us through your Thursday. So, once again, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for all of the wonky Wi-Fi and all of the fun conversation that we have on Wall Pass Wednesdays. Thanks to Jarrett, and thanks to all of y'all for dropping by, as you always do. So that is another go-round of Soccer Down here. Soccer's Morning Show back in a little less than 22, and we'll get back at it again tomorrow. And so, as always, play it safe again. Mucha plata, y'all. I'm going to put up the banner, and this is the out. And so I guess I need to sing the tail end of things involving like it used to be on the Gary Shandling show. So I'll just whistle before we go to the end of the stream.